Ellie Harris is a policy consultant at the Institute for Public Policy Research. She's also co-author of its report on these reforms. She's joining us from London. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. Given the pressures that the Prime Minister is under, as Rory was just describing, how confident can people be this will get through?
Certainly like a challenge and a difficult time for the government and for the Prime Minister. But I think the important thing to bear in mind is that this is more than just politics, it's children's lives, and the status quo cannot continue. And what backbench MPs and the sector really need to get behind is the idea of working constructively with government. The reforms announced today are massive, they're hugely ambitious, they're wide sweeping, and of course they'll need consultation and they'll be thought through carefully, and delivery will be really, really important. But the idea that doing nothing is an option is just off the table, and I think MPs will see that, and I think they'll see the ambition and they'll welcome that.
In the classrooms then, how would this work in practical terms?
I think that's the thing that's most interesting here, which is it could be transformative for the children and young people who are currently in school and will soon be coming into school. At the moment, what they have to do is they have to wait. 20 weeks is the legal time limit that they should be waiting, but only half of assessments are undertaken in that time. Some take more than a year, some take 2 years, and that means those children are left without support. So under these new reforms, if delivered effectively, what could happen could be transformative. A teacher could say, okay, there's a kid in my class whose speech and language isn't developing as I expect it to be. Let me ring up my experts at hand from the local authority and get some advice on what to do. And literally the next day, they'll be able to put in place different provisional support or try things to make sure that that child is getting support quickly as possible, rather than after a bureaucratic assessment process.
So this is focused on England, of course. The government is, as we were just talking about, keen to pitch this as a significant step forward. But how does England compare to other countries, say, in Europe?
Yeah, so the Centre for Education Systems has recently just done some research which put out the fact that this isn't unique to England, although the problems facing England are particularly acute. France, the Netherlands, New Zealand are all facing similar challenges. And we've seen both New Zealand and France do wide sweeping education reforms in the last decade. In particular, France has been looking at inclusion bases or hubs in their mainstream schools, which is a key part of the reforms announced today. So in some ways, it's very much in line with the practice that we're seeing internationally.
If this programme isn't brought in, what are the consequences, do you think, for the children who need it most?
I think they're massive and hugely consequential. What we know happens when children lose out on learning, they're not at school because their educational needs aren't being met. It means they're less happy, they feel like they belong less at school, they get worse GCSE outcomes, they're more likely to be not in education, employment or training. They go on to lead less productive and happy and fulfilling lives. Getting this right now could be the difference between children and young people growing up to be happy and successful and children and young people being failed again.
It's really good to have you on Al Jazeera to explain this to us. It's clearly a very complex situation. Ellie Harris, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.